Okay, so let's go ahead to time to build out the use case based on what we saw in the video. So we'll go to the behavior package here and hit create diagram, and this gives us a nice easy pop-up here of the common diagrams, and I want a SysML use case diagram. And so it's the all-terrain wheelchair use case. And I'm going to go ahead and point out that down here, this is the zoom for the diagram. This is basically a view into the specification window. This is a roll-up apparently of all the local changes we've made. And documentation is where I like to leave this because it lets me document things as I go. So we'll leave that locked there. I'll narrow this up just a teeny bit just to give us more canvas, and we'll go ahead and get started. So in Magic Draw, you'll have your palette here in the center. That gives you all the choices for elements that you have on the current diagram. So we'll go ahead and get started, and we're going to go ahead and put a disabled person as our actor, our first element on the use case. And so I'm going to hit this. If you hit Control W, it zooms in. That makes things a lot easier. So I did the auto arrange first to kind of shrink the canvas, then I scaled it to fit. So now this is big enough. And notice we have the disabled person here. If I click on it, I can come down here and now edit its documentation. There. So I just captured the fact that there's more than 40 million disabled people. So now that's available to us. And if we click on it, it's now here and editable. And so, as you recall, he talks about the need to travel long distances over rough terrain. And so our use case here will be to travel long distances. He says 5 kilometers a day, but we'll leave it at long distances here for the moment. And the disabled person has to do that, so we'll associate them with that use case. Now, that does include indoors and outdoors, and so we will go ahead and we will make an includes use case from this. So I click on it, the smart manipulators pop up, and include always happens, extends only happen when their conditions are satisfied, and we'll assume for all practical purposes that this will always include both travel indoors, and we will also travel outdoors. And I will say that outdoors will sometimes have rough terrain, so this warns me that we have no extension point, so I'll say yes, let's create one, and we'll say rough terrain encountered. So the disabled person has to travel long distances, and that includes traveling indoors, and it also includes traveling outdoors, and if you encounter rough terrain, you have to be able to travel over rough terrain. So we've captured that. Now there are a variety of other things that he mentioned as being important. So if we think about this and we click on the drop box, there's a variety of other systems that we can pick up on here. So the user system in this case, we have decided we're going to have a wheelchair. And so the wheelchair is going to be involved in that, traveling long distances. We also have a boundary system. Let's capture the manufacturing capability or system, or I can just say manufacturing, and that's going to be associated with the wheelchair. We also have repairman. And we'll call that local and that points out that we need to have a repair use case. And so so we'll put an extends on here of repair needed. So we can now repair the wheelchair. Notice the extension points are labeled next to the extend use case. So, so we've shown here that we need to travel over rough terrain, we need to travel outdoors, we need to travel long distances, we need repairmen to repair it. We also have the purchase wheelchair use case that the disabled person is involved with, but we also have salesman who's involved with that, and we'll put the distribution system on there as someone involved in that also. And we can probably put distribute. Which is something that this guy is involved with, as well as the manufacturing. Yeah, I'm not trying to get this perfect, but I'm trying to capture the bulk of what he was showing. So again, use cases are not my favorite diagram, but they're often a useful contextual sketch for the start of your project. Understand what's going on, who's involved, what you need to worry about. We're going to go ahead and put an environmental effect on here of, say, inclement weather. You wouldn't want to have a wheelchair that isn't waterproof, so we'll go ahead and add the inclement weather to the outdoor travel. Notice when I click on any element in Magic Draw, you do get the smart manipulators, but you also get a variety of other little symbols. Like this one lets you follow hyperlinks. This one actually lets you suppress things. This one lets you pick what compartments you want to see, so we can bring the extension points right back. So there's a lot of really nice things you can do here, and I do want to point out that edit compartments is a really powerful way to choose what you want to display on any given element. So there's an awful lot you can do with that, and we'll touch on that again later. In this case, I'm going to add another extension point for obstacle encountered, and we'll go ahead and now make a new extended use case for avoid obstacle. So I have to pick which extension point that goes with. So if we have avoid obstacle, we probably should have an obstacle as a boundary system that we have to get around, or I'll actually make it an external system. So we'll call this obstacle, and that's involved in the avoid obstacle use case. I would say indoors also has the need to, when a restroom is needed, we'll add navigate restroom, and we'll make that a we consider boundary system or external system, but let's go ahead and put furniture in as well, because he did mention that they have to interface with a table. So again, we've done quite a bit here. Again, this was just a quick behavioral sketch pad to show us the kind of things that I gleaned from the video.